Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tech Informist. This is episode 74, recorded live on Wednesday, May the 27th, 2015. My name is Kevin Harvell. I'm joined by Brad Whiteside. Brad, how are you, sir?
Pretty good, considering I didn't have a lot of sleep, but I've been sleeping very well.
That's good. So why is it that you're sleeping well?
Well, funny story. My fiance went out and got us new pillows. She got her a new one, and she got me a new one. And the one that she had originally picked out, she didn't like, and the one she got me, I didn't like, so we switched, and we loved them. And funny story about this pillow is my back has never felt better. I feel like I'm 12-year-old again. Like, I just feel like $1,000,000. My back is just perfect, aligned, feels great. So all from a pillow. Who would have knew?
Yeah, it's just the little things like that. Just a simple pillow or a mattress change or a shoe insert. They can really just completely throw your body back in alignment. Just one little thing can be off and cause all kinds of pain.
It's fantastic. Like, I sleep like a baby now. It's pretty incredible. Now we're really curious about trying out those new Casper mattresses.
Yeah, I've actually heard that they are pretty nice.
Yeah, so
I don't know anybody that personally has one, but I've read reviews. I've looked at a lot of stuff online about them, and they're not really. I mean, they're not cheap, but they're not like overly expensive.
I was gonna say, yeah, like compared to most mattresses in that arena, they're not that expensive.
Yeah, those big old pillow top mattresses. I mean, you can get a California King for was it like about $1,000?
Isn't California King's $950, King's $950, Queen, which is what we would get, an $850. I mean, they're priced pretty good considering they ship it to you in a little box.
Yep, shipped to you in a box, and you can carry it upstairs and with no problem.
Yeah. So, how was your weekend? How was your Memorial Day?
It wasn't too bad. My dad came over, and we just had lunch and stuff like that, and just kind of relaxed, enjoyed being off and not recording. It was weird.
Yeah, it was.
It really felt like a Sunday to me.
Yeah. My weekend was pretty crazy, it felt like. My Friday was very busy. Went bowling that night. To finish out the night. Well, I had a dentist appointment, got my tooth drilled, got that all taken care of. Cavity free, yay.
That's good. Good job.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible, about about 3/4 of the way through, I started to really feel it when he was drilling, and he's like, "You want me to stop?" I'm like, "Nope, just soldier on, let's get this done."
Just get it done.
Yeah, no more shots, let's just do it. But got that taken care of, went bowling, like I said. Then Saturday, we went out to the movies, and we haven't done that in a while, and we saw Mad Max Fury Road.
Okay.
Oh my God, what a great movie. So this movie should not have been good, first off. It's been like 30 years since the last Mad Max.
Right,
apparently.
Mel Gibson and all that stuff. Mad Max Thunder Road, and was it Tina Turner, I think, was in one of them. It was like,
I'm not too sure. Like, this was the first Mad Max I've ever saw.
Honestly, I can admit I've never seen any of the previous ones either.
I mean, I understand the concept behind it because it's like reminiscent to some of my favorite games. So I get it. And that's why it interests me a lot. And Tom Hardy, who plays Bane, is in it. And Charlize Theron, who was in Prometheus and a few other movies, like I think Monster or
Flux and she's
they are fantastic in it. The action is fantastic. It's not unwarranted at any point. It's just a really good story. Characters are very well written overall. It's not your typical damsel in distress. It's like the women actually play, a role of a person instead of a damsel in distress and an object. And it's really neat seeing something different like that versus our normal Save the Princess.
Now, from my understanding, with this Mad Max, it does not have a lot of dialogue. So there's a lot of visuals and scenes. And
yeah, so it's interesting. the director, he said in doing this movie, he's like, he just wanted two things out of the DVD release. He wanted it to be able to be watched in black and white, which I thought interesting. And he also wanted it to be watched with no dialogue at all, just with the music in the background, which I thought really interesting. But I could see it work for the most part. There are some like kind of heavy dialogue spots that it's like, well, it'd be nice to know those things. But I guess if you know the story well enough, just watching it, listening to the music is pretty awesome.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, highly recommend. Go see it. You will not be disappointed. I really do not think. But
yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about it, and it's definitely something that I want to go.
It's a sleeper hit for sure. I don't think anybody expected it to be good, and for that reason alone, not a lot of people went to see it first off, but it's definitely worth seeing.
Yeah, I think word of mouth here is really going to help it while it's still in its theater run. And I still need to go see Avengers. Eventually, I will get that done where I can actually go see that. So we'll get there. We'll get there. But hey, we are here to talk about technology, not just movies. We throw that in towards the end. So
yes.
For those of you that are new to the Tech Informist, we don't always start off with a movie. Typically, this show is all about technology, whether it's consumer focused or things that we just like to talk about, smartphones and software services and things like that. You can, follow us, keep up with us. Visit our website, techinformist.com. Just published a review for the HTC One M9. So periodically, we'll throw up some reviews. We're not just a podcasting website. And you can follow us on Twitter at TechInformist. We're on Facebook and Google Plus and even Periscope sometimes. Once in a while, we'll do a Periscope or a Meerkat. Like to try to figure out different ways how we can implement that to make them worthwhile. Maybe we'll do some Ask Me Anything kind of video sessions with the live streaming. Fun stuff.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I think it would be fun. I think people probably get a kick out of it. And time to time, everybody wants to know, well, what's your, what favorite apps? What devices are you using? What are you testing out now? What do you think of this? What do you think of that? Be a good way to just put everything right in one simple little area. We have to do that. So we'll go ahead and kick things off. And Brad, since you hit up the show notes first, we'll go ahead and lead off with your story.
Yeah, so this is probably a story that most everybody's talking about, especially if you're a Halo fan. First off, if you guys know Cortana, she's character in Halo universe, but she's also the digital assistant on Windows Phone, which is now officially being released to Android and iOS.
Yes. So the rumor was true.
Yes, the rumor from about a year ago, actually.
Yeah, it's been quite a few months. I mean, I know we've talked about it on Tech Informist before, and the show's been around since September of 2015.
It's actually the first article I wrote for St. Louis Tech Talk.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, so that was about a year ago.
Wow, okay.
So, I find that interesting. But to take it back up from where I left off, I'm not too surprised. This is the new Microsoft once again, and, their services are everywhere, and Microsoft is everywhere. And they, it's like if you were to compare them to like ships in an ocean, Microsoft wants to be the ocean while Apple and Google can be the little ships kind of thing. But so there's, Cortana's coming. There is a new phone companion app, which makes it where your iPhone and your Android device would be similar to a Windows phone, where you could pick up where you left off on those phones on your PC. That's really cool stuff. The Xbox Music, they have the integration with OneDrive, so you can, pull your music from your OneDrive and onto the Xbox Music app, or whatever they're going to call it. They just call it Music app, but I'm guessing they're getting rid of the Xbox in front of that. I don't know.
Well, no, I think they're going to keep. It'll still be called Xbox Music, like on Android and iOS and Windows Phone. I think it'll still be called Xbox Music, but yeah, being able to stream your, songs from your OneDrive for free without having to pay for Xbox Music, which That's what, like $10 a month, unless you get on that crazy Pi deal that for like $3 a month.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, I like the fact that you can just stream, your music collection for free that way. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah, except it doesn't really seem to work if you put your iTunes music in there. And I'm assuming that has something to do with DRM. I
Yeah,
don't
possibly
know.
could. I'd have
So I
to.
got to figure that if I can figure that out, or somebody knows, the reason as to why that doesn't work, let me know, because I'd like to figure that out eventually. But no, the interesting thing with Cortana going to the other platforms is, well, it's not going to be native, right? So it's not going to be the way it's integrated into Windows Phone. So
Yeah.
there'll be maybe a few features missing here and there.
Right. Not
But I
built
feel,
into the OS.
yeah, I feel like Android will have a leg up on iOS because it's so open platformed and you can get so much more out of Cortana on Android than probably the iPhone. But the fact remains, she'll still be there. She'll still be collecting information for people, who are using it for the first time, which is good because that helps grow the platform, and
Right.
that's good for everyone.
Like for people that are wondering how Cortana is going to work on things like the iPhone and on Android, imagine Google Now on iPhone. That's kind of how it'll work. You'll open a Cortana app and then you'll be like put into that experience. So you won't be able to sit here and just say, okay, Cortana, and wake it up or do anything to say, hey Siri or anything like that.
Yeah. But supposedly the Android one is supposed to come out in June, and then the iPhone later this summer. So we will see how that goes, and I'll be interested to check them out on each one compared to Windows Phone. But I truly do believe that, there was a big talk on the Windows post on Facebook, our group that we have, the St. Louis Windows Meetup group, and they were kind of, some of them were, at first a little bummed once again that Microsoft's kind of giving away those select things like Cortana that are only Windows only. And initially I kind of was too, but if you look at the bigger picture, I think it's a good thing. And, it's only going to benefit everyone in the long run, I think. And once again, this is the new Microsoft, so.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying this out. I mean, we've already used, the Microsoft Band with iPhones and Androids, and it works great tied with the Microsoft Health app. Of course, you lose the, voice interaction. So it's pretty much going to be a very similar experience.
I wonder if having the Cortana app will be able to tie the watch in closer to the phone on Android and iOS.
That is going to be interesting whether or not they'll be able to actually do that. Because
if so, that's kind of cool because then they get a little Cortana action, can use that with the watch. That's kind of cool. That's one of my favorite features, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, like Daryl says there in the chat, the Cortana experience obviously still will be better for Windows Mobile.
Yeah, and that's the point, right? Like the story, I don't think has been fully told as to maybe why choose Windows Phone over the other platforms just yet, because I mean, there's still, there's things like Continuum. That's kind of big in my opinion.
Right.
But I think they're still telling that story. I think they're, people might argue, well, now that Cortana's over there, why don't I just go to Android? And it's like, well, that's kind of a valid point, but I think that story is still being told, and we'll hear more about that this summer. So
right. Well, let's go ahead and move into one of your other stories. Get a little bit further about Microsoft signing the, some, going to be pushing more of the Office apps and service bundling deals with 20 more Android device makers.
Yeah, so this first started with the Galaxy S6, where they kind of signed some kind of behind the doors deal that nobody really understands or knows about, but can come to the conclusion it had something to do with them getting into a legal tussle, and this was kind of the outcome. Well, they're starting to do that with just about every manufacturer under the sun that makes anything Android. LG, Sony, just to name a couple. And I mean, basically, they're just going to bundle Microsoft services like Office. It looks like the Office apps, and bundle that into each device, and that's huge because I mean, if you have Office on all your Android devices already, like you don't have to go get them from the store, people are more likely to check them out on that device and maybe even use them versus like a third party app or maybe Google stuff, unless they just really like Google stuff to begin with. That's beside the point.
Yeah,
This
but
is for the
I would
people.
assume, like Nexus devices will ship with, all of Google's, Office kind of programs.
Well, yeah, and I think Nexus is kind of like an exception because it doesn't come with anything extra.
Right.
So, but I mean, beside the Nexus, it seems that if you're getting an Android device from here on out, more than likely it's going to have some kind of bundled Microsoft app compilation.
Yeah. So I think it's a really good idea for them to be able to get more of their services across the different platforms. And I mean, they've done it in the past, That's kind of how Internet Explorer had such that high, usage rates because, they just put it, it was just automatically there. So
yeah, Microsoft everywhere.
So people didn't have to go find another web browser because there's already a web browser right there until obviously Mozilla and Google came up with Chrome, and then the Opera browser and Safari from Apple. Until users really had some good options.
Oh, but there was Netscape.
Oh yeah, Netscape Navigator. So I mean that's kind of how it is, and I think that's what they're looking for with this is just getting more people using their services. So I don't know. I know a lot of Microsoft fans are kind of upset about this, but it's good for the company as a whole because Microsoft is a software company. They're not a hardware company. Yeah, they've got the Surface and Surface Pro 3s, which are
Xbox,
fabulous. Yeah, and they got some fabulous devices.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff that they do make is top notch. Like, I mean, it's not necessarily their like full on business, but they're still pretty good at it.
Right. Yeah. And another thing that Daryl mentions, if making sure that the carriers, because the carriers still have to approve what comes shipped on phones, what's preloaded actually. So I mean, AT&T and Verizon have removed some apps in the past that Microsoft has set up to bundle with the Galaxy devices. Like for example, I've got the Galaxy 6 Edge here from Verizon, and I have not uninstalled any apps. So let's look through and see if there's any Microsoft apps that were on here by default. Because I haven't really installed a lot. And let's see, go to the Samsung folder. No. Nope. So Verizon does not have OneDrive, does not have Skype. That is not installed on this Galaxy S6 Edge from the factory.
Yeah, from what I heard, those apps were taken off because they were directly competing with Verizon's apps, which
are terrible.
I'm sorry, Verizon, but
yeah,
you just shouldn't make apps.
Yeah, I don't use their messaging app. I don't use their cloud. I don't use caller name ID and mobile hotspot. Well, I use mobile hotspot, but no, it's because they don't really have a lot of things on here. I don't know. It's strange. They shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I feel very strongly that they shouldn't be able to do that. But I guess selling that phone on that, on their network, it's like they kind of get to do whatever they want. Unless it's Apple. Apple gets to do whatever they want.
Yeah, Apple's the only company that does get to do whatever they want.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is what it's going to ship with, and this is how it's going to look. No carrier branding, no nothing.
Yeah, for better or for worse, they get to.
Yeah, they get to kind of do what they want. All right, so moving on, Android users can now start using Periscope, which we mentioned a little while ago. Periscope and Meerkat is now. I mean, Meerkat's been available for a little while now, but Periscope just came out yesterday on the 26th. So I know that made a lot of people happy. It was kind of fun seeing everybody on Twitter and posting out their first Periscope video, and going through my list of people that were available to follow, and like, ooh, so I can actually start following you and you and you. So
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out with my little LG G Flex 2. I don't know what I would Periscope as my first thing, because I almost feel like Twitch would be my Periscope.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure I'll go out to a ball game sometime soon, or
Yeah, just go somewhere
something
where
like
you're
that.
like seeing something that's really cool and you just want to share it with everybody. It's kind of what the whole experience and purpose behind the application. Because I've been reading a little bit more about Periscope lately, and it was just intended to kind of like put when somebody sees something that's going on in the world amazing by somebody that's broadcasting that, it puts the viewer essentially like right there to experience that live with everybody else. So
Yeah. So does that use the front camera or the rear camera, or
I can use
both?
both. You can
Okay.
flip it around. By default, I think it starts with the rear facing camera.
Okay. Cool.
And then I think if you double tap the screen, it flips the camera around to face you. The one biggest gripe, and it's a legitimate gripe that people have, is that it's all portrait. There's no
Oh,
landscape.
that drives me nuts.
It
Oh,
does.
it's like when people take pictures and portraits of like a landscape viewing. It's like,
Oh yeah.
no, 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 no. Turn your phone. There you go.
Yeah, because you can save these your Periscope streams to your phone
Hmm.
if you have that option selected, and which I usually do. But if you want to edit that into another video, for example, if you're at a presentation and things like that, and you'd like to import that into the final presentation video that you're recording, you've really got to play around with that, because everything's going to be in a normal landscape view, and then you've got this portrait video. It just does not look right.
So, so if you turn the phone on its side, is everything just kind of sideways?
Then you look in, then you're looking at it sideways. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they definitely need to fix that, because that would bother me.
Yeah,
But I mean, still, I'll still definitely check it out. I'm sure that's something that could easily be fixed.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're working on it. I mean, I
Yeah.
know it's probably one of the number one things that people request.
I know
for,
that's my number one gripe already, and I haven't even used it.
yeah, I completely understand. All right, so let's see, Periscope. Okay, so we'll go back. Still talking about Android. One of the big stories that have come out recently is Android's factory reset has a security problem. Now, most people think when you do a factory reset, all the data is going to be completely wiped off. And that's what everybody thought, because, well, it kind of makes sense. You're doing a factory reset. It tells you, hey, do you want to delete all, warning, all data is going to be deleted. Make sure you back everything up before you proceed. Well, apparently, thanks to flash memory, some data is still being left embedded in the device, including, like Google tokens to like log into your Google accounts. So, people in the know that are good about hacking and things like that, then they could still get in there. For example, if you sell a device on swappa.com or eBay, they could get in there and get some of your information. So The Verge kind of did a article about how you can fix this issue. A quick fix for this is simple. Encrypt the data on your phone before you get rid of it. You can find the option at Settings, Security, Encrypt Phone. And for any Android version since 3.0, you can do this. So Adrian Ludwig, the lead engineer for Android security, recommended preemptive encryption for anyone giving up their phone. Quote, if you plan to resell or discard your device and you have not already, encrypt it and then perform a factory reset, Ludwig said. So make sure before you go to resell your phone or wipe it that you encrypt the device. So, and as somebody that tests a lot of phones, I mean, it's something that you'll need to start doing as well, Brad.
Yes.
Apparently, I need to encrypt these things before I wipe them and send them back to Verizon or AT&T.
Yeah. That's. I wish it wasn't so complicated. I mean, it's not, but it is. It's like you wipe a iOS or Windows phone. It's as far as we know, it hasn't been reported. They're done. There's nothing on there. But it doesn't seem so with Android.
Yeah. So I mean,
Oh, the joys of technology.
oh yeah, it's always something. Uh, iOS forensics is much harder to do than Android. So
Well, yeah, iOS is very like locked down, and it's
Oh, yeah.
very, it's
But-
like we
which
don't
is
want
good.
people getting this data. Yeah, and that's fantastic. Love them or hate them, they are really good at protecting their user data. And I feel the same way about Microsoft. I think they're really good at protecting their user data, and I think with the new Android, it's M, right? Android M.
yeah, Android M. We don't know the official name, but that'll be probably find out Thursday. So
Oh, right.
gosh,
That's
which
this
is
week
just
already.
tomorrow. So
Yeah.
Google I/O is kicking off this week. I know a lot of developers
That'll be interesting.
are already over there, and Android Central is going to be there kicking butt with a lot of good coverage, I am sure. So
Yeah,
love
but
to be there.
just to get back to that point, I think Android M will address a lot of security stuff that the user will have control of, and
Yeah.
I hope.
I would
And,
think so.
Yeah, so that's good.
So I mean because that's one thing I noticed with the Nexus 6 when you get it.
Hmm.
People were kind of saying that, it was running a little sluggish. That's because the device already was shipping already encrypted. You couldn't like unencrypt it without rooting and unlocking and doing all kinds of things to it. But
Oh,
now you can kind of toggle that on and off. So
Oh.
with that Nexus 6 that you reviewed,
Mhm.
you were good to go. It was already
Yes,
encrypted.
nice and safe. Cool.
All right. So since we just mentioned Apple, I know we're kind of hopping around the list here.
Yeah, that's all right.
There was a fire that broke out at a Apple facility in Mesa, Arizona, Tuesday morning.
What?
Now-
What?
Yeah, so the fire appeared to be on solar panels on the roof of the building over a loading dock, and the fire did not appear to be burning inside the building itself. What this building is a data processing plant, so it's not like where they make anything. It's just data for processing, processing data and stuff like that. So it was a 2 alarm fire, and the firefighters took care of it in about 35 minutes. Nobody was injured, and there's about 50 employees that had to be evacuated from the building.
Well, nobody was injured, and I'm sure that didn't do too much damage.
No, because I don't think the fire actually got in the building. It all was just on the roof. So
Oh, okay. And you said California, right?
Arizona.
Oh, Arizona. Okay.
Yeah.
So that poor southwestern part of the country right now, they're running out of water, and which
Yeah.
leads me into my entertainment pick later.
Mhm.
But I'll talk about that later. But
Right.
yeah, they're running out of water.
Well, I'm sure, I'm sure Daryl can attest to Texas has plenty of it with all the flooding and rain and stuff that they've been getting. My goodness.
Yeah, lately.
Oh, man. So another little Apple story is Johnny Ive, who has been promoted to a new position at Apple called Chief Design Officer. So he's handing off managerial duties on July 1st. So Johnny Ive has been the senior vice president of design. So, when you look at iOS 8 and even with iOS 7, you always, during all these Apple keynotes, you see a lot of videos with him talking about design and all this. He's really been a big part of the design of, Apple phones, the Apple Watch, and, just how things are. So he's going to be moving into a newly created position, which I mentioned was the Chief Design Officer. And then Apple is going to be handing the managerial reins of both the industrial and software design to a couple of new leaders. Richard Howarth will become the vice president of industrial design and focus on hardware. Alan Dye, DYE, will now be the vice president of user interface design. So Alan Dye was a key player in iOS 7's major redesign, as well as the work on the new Watch OS interface. And Richard Howarth has been part of the iPhone team since the very first generation of the device was in development. So, interesting.
Nice. Sounds like they're shuffling the cards a little bit, but all in good faith.
Yeah. I mean, Johnny Ive has, according to Tim Cook's newsletter that he sent out to employees, he is one of the most talented and accomplished designers of his generation, with an astonishing 5,000 design and utility patents to his name. His new role is a reflection of the scope of work he has been doing at Apple for some time. His design responsibilities have expanded from hardware and, more recently, software UI to the look and feel of Apple retail stores, our new campus in Cupertino, and product packaging and many other parts of our company. So, interesting little changes, but it's good. I'm sure they're going to keep on doing what they do.
Keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on, as people like to say. So let's hop back over to some Microsoft news, and specifically more about Xbox One and some accessories that you've been trying out.
Speaking of accessories, real quick, Daryl just posted something really interesting in the chat, which I just wanted to share. Reportedly, Microsoft is talking about making a Band 2, surprise, surprise, later this year. So we will see if that comes to fruition. But back to the Xbox stuff. So I've had quite a few accessories already with my Xbox One, and I play it a lot. But one of the recent ones was the Antec, the cooler that Antec sent us.
Yes.
And so originally I thought, you know, this isn't the 360. This is kind of a silly idea. You don't really need this, yada, yada, yada. Well, after using it and actually like seeing the temperature of the air coming out, and seeing that it's cooling the Xbox versus like what it would normally run at, it's not bad accessory. The problem with it though is it's a little loud. It kind of like vibrates on top of the Xbox. That's like my biggest concern. If they could get it to stop doing that, it might be a nice little small $30 investment to maybe prolong your Xbox's lifespan, which they're supposed to be built to run for 10 years. So I don't know. Yeah. But
yeah, like if you go to our YouTube channel, I put up a video that Brad did a comparison of with the Xbox One without the fan and what it sounds like with the fan on it. I mean, he got up really nice and close, and
yeah, I tried to make it as dead quiet as possible. Like nothing was going on outside. It was like middle of the day. No one was here. So it was perfect time to shoot that, and took care of that. So yeah, definitely go check it out. You can, see what I'm talking about how it kind of looks like it's just like buzzing or vibrating on top of it. And if they could just, hinder that or muffle that just a little bit, or put some different
on the bottom of it, does it have like little pads or anything like that?
It does, but it almost seems like they're not big enough, or they're misplaced or something, like during the process of making it. But I don't know. I just feel like they need a little more work, and that could be a really good device.
All right.
Then there's the Hauppauge digital TV tuner for Xbox One that Hauppauge specifically made to be used with the Xbox One. What was surprising when I opened it is it actually comes with an antenna. Now, this antenna is not going to work for most of our listeners because it's only a 10-mile antenna. And I actually plugged it in, and I got quite a few channels because I'm here right in the city, so it works pretty good for me. Okay. But I eventually plan on plugging up our 40-mile antenna because it's more mileage, so better coverage. We don't get channel 5, which is interesting. We get 2, 4, but no 5. So
yeah, that's strange. I want to say that channel 5 here in St. Louis, KSDK, was one of the first stations really to
exactly
start promoting the switch over to HD.
Yeah, so it's kind of a bummer that we don't get that, because I do enjoy Channel 5 news.
Yeah.
But that was $60. the nice thing about the TV tuner is, well, first of all, if you have a Kinect, there is a kind of extension cord for the Hap-Hog tuner because it's too bulky to fit in the USB port next to the Kinect plug. So they give you a little extension, plug it in, and works just fine. The nice thing is, though, you can pause live TV for up to 30 minutes, and it like reserves this 4 GB space on your hard drive. So if you are running out of hard drive space, I would highly recommend getting one of the new Seagate portable hard drives. It's very, very tiny and does the job fantastically. And I got mine. There was like a 1.5 terabyte for $60. So it's really nice. That I highly recommend those. Those are nice, very tiny, and they don't require extra power. So you save on your power strip for your huge entertainment stuff.
Okay.
Because ours is pretty loaded up. And the last one I want to talk about real quick is the Energizer stand, the 2X charging stand. You can fit 2 controllers on there. They come with 2 battery packs. So I tested this thing to its limits one day, and I played for 14 hours straight on Minecraft.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was a long day, but it was fun. And I ran out of battery at the 13th hour, so I had about an hour where I switched over to the other controller for the last hour, and it did just fine. But for most people, those batteries will last you all your gaming session, and they're fantastic because every time you pick your controller up, it's a brand new, fresh battery, essentially. And you never have to worry about changing in between gameplay unless you're crazy like me and you play long periods of time. Then towards the end, you might have to change it, but highly, highly recommend those. That's one of my favorite out of the group of what I just kind of told you about. Those are, I want to say, $25 or $30 as well.
Okay.
So,
I mean, with controllers having rechargeable batteries already built in, I think it's kind of nice.
So I've had terrible luck with the plug and play ones. Not that they're a terrible idea. It's just it kind of defeats the purpose of having the wireless controller to me.
Yeah, because you're tethered for a while
for the remainder of charging the device. Yeah, whereas overnight your controller can charge, and you pick it up and it's wireless again. Which, with the Xbox controller, you plug your headset now into the controller, and it shoots sound into the controller, over the air into your headset. If you have like a nice Turtle Beach or something like that, you're no longer necessarily tethered. You can even use earbuds now if you get the little adapter, so you're no longer like tethered to like the TV for a USB port or something necessarily.
Okay. Nice.
But yeah,
the lives of a gamer.
Yep. You can just live vicariously through me.
Yeah, I pretty much have to, I guess. I sure don't have the time to play like I would want to.
Well, lately it seems I don't have the time.
Yeah, I know how that goes. Welcome to my world. All right, so the last story that I want to talk about kind of affects a lot of people, actually. And this is about Charter buying Time Warner Cable for $78.7 billion. So, billion with a B.
That's like close to double what it was going to sell for originally to Comcast, right?
Yeah, I don't remember the specifics of that deal off the top of my head, but man, that's a lot of money. So by doing this, it's going to merge 2 of the largest cable companies in the United States. And this is based on Charter's closing price on May 20th. The deal values Time Warner Cable shares at about $195.71. Charter will provide $100 in cash and shares of the new public parent company dubbed as New Charter, which is equivalent to 0.5409 shares of Charter for each outstanding share of Time Warner Cable. So in addition, Charter has also announced it has amended its agreement with Advance/Newhouse Partnership to buy Bright House Networks for $10.4 billion.
Man, they're just throwing money around.
Yeah. So the merger of Charter, Time Warner Cable, and Bright House will create a broadband company that will serve nearly 24 million customers in 41 states.
Me being one of them.
Yes, and yeah, me as well.
Don't be evil, Charter. We're friends right now. Don't be evil.
Yeah. So Tom Rutledge, who's the president and CEO of Charter, said in a statement that with our larger reach, we will be able to accelerate the deployment of faster internet speeds.
Hey, I'm okay with this. Let's do it. Let's do it.
State-of-the-art video experiences and fully featured voice products at highly competitive prices.
I agree with that, because if you try to go to AT&T for a UVerse price, sure, you get a constant 18 megs, but like the lowest I usually get's like 25 megs, and that's in an apartment complex, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
The highest I usually get somewhere in the 70s or 80s. So
yeah, I can pull, if I do a speed test, I can pull like 100 or 105 for my download. My upload's only like 4 to 5.
Yeah, my upload's like 3 or 4. So I mean, if we can bump up that upload a little bit more, have a really happy customer here.
Yeah, do like Verizon and say, here, we'll match your download with your upload. Yeah, happy?
Or even meet it halfway. I mean, upload of 50 would be great.
Ah, yes, and Daryl has to throw in how fast his Verizon Fios internet is. Yeah.
Oh,
stuff it, Daryl. Stuff it. Yeah. So the deal is still subject to approval by both companies' board as well as regulatory review. And the deal for Bright House is contingent upon the completion of the Time Warner Cable deal. So the three companies expect the deals to close by the end of the year.
Well, we'll see if that comes to fruition.
Yeah, because I know Time Warner's been trying to get bought or merged with other companies for what seems like a couple of years.
I know. Okay, so Time Warner and Comcast, no, not so much. But I think this is a better fit.
Yeah,
I think. I mean, I'm not a FCC or anything, but I think this is a much better fit. It's not so evil, if you will.
Right. All right, so that pretty much does it for our news stories. We'll move into our app and entertainment picks. And hey, I get to go first this time.
Yeah.
So if this is a podcast, we've talked about science and stuff here a little bit here on the show with Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye the Science Guy. But this podcast called People Behind the Science is actually it's based here in St. Louis. And the host interviews other doctors and scientists from around the country with various topics. For example, yesterday I was listening to an episode about cochlear ear implants and kind of some of the science behind that and just how those actually help people that have some hearing loss, be able to hear again. And I actually know, my wife has hearing loss in one ear, but I'm not sure if the cochlear ear implant would help with her issue. It's possible, but we know another friend that has kind of a similar issue, and she's been able to do that, and it's actually helped her tremendously. So,
yeah, so I went ahead and put that on my Pocket Cast app because I am very interested.
Yeah.
I'm a big science guy.
It's a good show. It's really well done. She does a great job of interviewing. So check it out. People Behind the Science. And you can find it at peoplebehindthescience.com. We'll have a link in the show notes as well for you to go find and read more about the show.
So speaking of science, my pick is also a science pick in a way. And it's on Showtime, and you can actually get it off of iTunes and Amazon if you so choose to go digital or whatnot. It's also on DVD. But this is a kind of a mini series in a way, because they only did the one season so far, as far as I know, and I think it was back in 2014 or 13, somewhere in there. So it was only like 2 years ago, but it's about the effects of climate change and like how we are contributing so much to climate change. And yes, climate change is real. regardless of whether or not you believe, it's still there and it's still happening. And there's a huge compelling case behind it. If you just, watch the science work, it's magic. You will definitely see, how we are going to be in some trouble. I mean, for instance, the southwestern part of the U.S., I mean, they are running out of water. They've got like some places have like a year left of water, and that's not good. They need water bad, but like us changing the climate so much, is definitely attributing to that. I mean, and if you don't believe in the whole climate change, just consider this. Mercury is closer to the sun, but Venus is, the next planet black, but yet Venus is hotter than Mercury. The reason being greenhouse gases. And guess what? We're starting to get that. That's not good. So check it out. You should really check it out. Inform yourself, take care of our Mother Earth, because it's the only one we got.
All right. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of big names here associated with the show as well. Jessica Alba, yeah. Don Cheadle, Matt Damon, Harrison Ford.
Uh-huh. Yep. So it takes a bunch of celebrities, and it takes them to different countries sometimes. And Michael C. Hall goes to a different country. He plays Dexter. Mm-hmm. They go to the different countries and see like firsthand this affecting people. And like they're actually a city now that has run out of water completely. Like they have no water. There's like a civil war going over it. There's a bunch of different like countries that kind of going at war with each other because of this global warming affecting their crops and their water and their food. And it's a big eye opener.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to check this out.
Yeah, it's a very good show though. Like there's so much information. If you love to learn, you love science, I highly recommend. It's done just brilliantly.
Okay, nice. Years of Living Dangerously.
Yep.
All right. Well, that pretty much does it for the episode. So I'd like to thank everybody for watching and listening, whether you watch or listen live or listen after the fact. We do appreciate it as well. Again, I'm Kevin Harvell. You can find me on Twitter at Kevin Harvell. You can find Brad Whiteside on Twitter at holy_shadows. Make sure to head over to techinformist.com and check out our reviews of the Antec X1 Xbox One cooler, and also the review of the HTC One M9 that I posted out recently. Got a couple other reviews coming up soon, so make sure to check over there for those as well. And check out our YouTube channel. Let us know what you think of the Antec X1 cooler video. I mean, it's just a very short thing with a couple little images and just those couple sound comparison clips that Brad took. So let us know. We'd love to hear your feedback. And don't forget, we still have our poll about the idea of whether smart watches will help users avoid damaging their phones. Now, my thought process behind the question is the fact that if your phone's in your pocket and you're getting your notifications on your wrist so you can see whether or not you need to respond to it or not, you're not running the risk of having to pull your device out of your pocket or your purse, and hence increasing the chances of dropping it. So that's kind of my thinking behind the question. I know some people are kind of confused. Well, why would you do that if you got a phone? And like, well, this is what I'm thinking. And as of right now, we're at 60% of people say no, they don't think that smartwatches will help users reduce dropping their phone. And
interesting,
39% of people do think it will help reduce users.
Now, if they want to go and vote on that, are you going to retweet that, or?
Yeah, I'll retweet the link and also have that in the show notes again.
There you go.
So cool. I'll keep sharing that out. I'll share it out today and tomorrow, which is Thursday, and we'll announce the final statistics on our next episode, which will be Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. So, and we'll have a new question for you as well. I'll try to come up with something really good for you guys. So that pretty much does it. Brad, got anything else to say?
See you guys Friday.
All right. Sounds good. Again, everybody, this is the Tech Informist. Send comments, suggestions, feedback, email to contact@thetechinformist.com. So, and until next time, consider yourself informed. We are out.
Take care, guys.